Welcome to another deep dive. We're going to be talking about something pretty interesting today.
Yeah?
It's all about the future of work and freelancing.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, freelancing in 2025. We've got this awesome source.
Oh, cool.
It's called The Ultimate Guide to Freelancing and Freelancing Platforms.
Okay.
And it's perfect for, anyone who is thinking about freelancing themselves.
Yeah.
Or maybe they want to hire some freelancers. Or,
Right.
maybe they're just curious about
Just curious about
what's going on with this whole trend, right?
exactly
This whole freelance thing.
this freelancing thing.
They're
Yeah.
kind of blowing up.
Yeah, it really is. And this guide,
Yeah.
it has a lot of good stuff in it.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know over half the workforce could be freelancing by 2030?
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a lot of freelancers.
it is.
Okay. So, for those of us who are like, wait, what is freelancing?
Yeah.
Could you break it down a little bit?
Yeah. So basically, freelancing is
Right.
being your own boss. You choose your projects, you set your own hours,
Okay.
and it's basically like running a one-person business
Gotcha.
instead of working for just one company.
Okay.
You're offering your skills to different clients on a project basis.
So it's like choose your own adventure for your career.
Yes, exactly. And there are a lot of cool fields that are really popular in freelancing right now. The guide mentions writing, design, web development,
Oh, cool.
social media management, consulting.
There's a lot of variety there.
Lots of variety, yeah.
That's awesome.
You can really find something you're interested in.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so now I'm all about work-life balance.
Yeah.
So this is where freelancing really speaks to me.
Mm-hmm.
But why would someone actually choose to freelance over a traditional 9 to 5?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think
Is it just the flexibility?
flexibility is a big part of it.
Yeah.
For sure. The guide talks about how freelancers have a lot of control over their schedules and their work environment. You can work from anywhere, you can set your own hours, you
Wow.
can take breaks when you need to. It's all about
I like it.
aligning your work with your life,
Yeah.
not the other way around.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. But let's be real for a second.
Sure.
What about the downsides? I know the guide talks about income instability.
Yes.
That can be scary for someone who's used to a steady paycheck, right?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And the guide, it doesn't try to hide that.
Yep.
Income can definitely fluctuate when you're freelancing,
Yeah.
especially when you're just starting out.
Right.
But there are ways that you can kind of help with that,
Yeah.
building a good client base,
Okay.
diversifying your income. Maybe you're not just relying on one type of work
Gotcha.
and being really careful with your finances.
Makes sense.
So, it's like
Being smart about it.
being smart about it, being proactive.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And another thing the guide mentions is the potential for isolation.
Oh, yeah. You're working from home all the time.
Yeah. Could get lonely.
It could get lonely.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is that there's a growing movement
Oh, cool.
of co-working spaces
Okay.
and online communities specifically for freelancers.
Gotcha.
So it was a way to find support, network with people,
Okay.
kind of combat that feeling of isolation.
So it's like having the best of both worlds, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You get the independence of freelancing, but you also get the connections.
The connections,
with
yeah.
other people.
Definitely.
Awesome. So let's say, hypothetically,
Okay.
I'm ready to jump into the freelance pool.
Right.
Where do I even begin to find work?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the guide talks about the top freelancing platforms in 2025.
Okay.
And there are a lot of great ones.
All right.
It's like a whole marketplace of opportunity out there.
Cool.
There's Upwork, which is the big one.
So if Upwork's like the Walmart of freelancing,
Okay. Yeah.
would that make Fiverr the Etsy? Right.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
Because they're known for those quick little gigs.
Yeah, the smaller gigs,
Yeah.
the specialized gigs,
Yeah.
exactly. And then you've got TopTal, which is kind of
Oh, yeah.
the exclusive club.
Fancy.
Yeah, for top talent.
Okay.
So each platform kind of has its own personality.
That makes sense. And can we talk about the nitty gritty of how these platforms actually work?
Sure.
What did they do?
So they basically act as a middleman
Okay.
between the freelancers and the clients.
Okay.
So clients will post projects, and then freelancers can submit proposals for them.
Okay.
And the platform kind of makes it easier to communicate, to handle payments,
Right.
And sometimes even like, disputes if those come up.
That makes sense. But they're not all created equal, though, right?
Right.
I imagine things like the fees
Yeah.
or the competition might vary.
Yeah, definitely.
So what are some, key differences that I should be aware of? Yeah, that's a really important question. And the guide, it really encourages freelancers to think about these things, to really do their research.
Makes sense.
So, for example, Upwork and Freelancer, they have a ton of different project categories
Okay.
and skill levels.
Gotcha.
But that also means there's a lot of competition there.
Exactly.
And they also take a percentage of your earnings as a fee.
Right.
So, there's that. Then you've got Fiverr, which focuses on these smaller, fixed price gigs, which
Okay.
can be a great way to kind of, get started,
Yeah.
but maybe not so good for those larger, more complex projects.
Gotcha. So it's all about finding the right fit
Exactly.
for your skills and what you're looking for.
Right.
So choosing the right platform, it sounds like that's pretty important.
It can make or break your experience, for sure.
Right. Okay. So let's say I've done my research.
Okay.
I've picked my platform.
All right.
So I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Now, what are some common mistakes that freelancers make when setting their rates?
Oh, that's a good one. I think one of the biggest ones is, undervaluing yourself,
Okay.
especially when you're first starting out.
Yeah.
You're eager to get clients,
Right.
so you might be tempted to charge less, but
Yeah.
it's important to remember you're running a business here.
Yeah.
You need to price your services accordingly.
Okay.
So the guide recommends, researching what other people in your field are charging,
Okay.
thinking about your experience level, and setting rates that really reflect the value you bring.
Don't be afraid to charge what you're worth.
Exactly.
I like it. And then what about proposals?
Oh, yeah.
How can I make mine stand out?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of other freelancers out there.
Yeah, definitely.
All applying for the same gigs.
For sure.
So what's the secret sauce?
So it's all about crafting a really good narrative.
Okay.
Think of your proposal as a mini marketing pitch.
Okay.
You need to highlight your skills.
Right.
Show that you understand what the client needs. Gotcha. And demonstrate how you can bring something unique to the table.
So it's not just about listing your qualifications.
Exactly.
It's about telling a story.
Yes, telling a story that resonates with the client.
Does that make sense?
And personalize each proposal.
Okay.
Take the time to research the client, their business, the specific project.
Oh, wow.
Show them that you've done your homework,
Yeah.
that you're genuinely interested in helping them.
That's a good point. It's kind of like dating, right?
Oh, yeah.
You wouldn't send the same generic message to every person you're interested in.
Exactly.
Right. You tailor it to them.
Yeah, you want to personalize it.
So same thing with proposals
Exactly.
and first impressions. They really matter.
Yeah, just like in dating.
Okay. So make sure your proposal is well written, no errors,
Yes,
visually appealing.
definitely.
Okay. Gotcha. So let's say I've landed a few clients,
Okay.
feeling good.
Right.
What are some tips for actually succeeding as a freelancer? Like when it comes to things like, time management,
Time management is key.
client communication, all that stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
What's the advice?
So time management is so important when you're your own boss, right?
Yeah.
The guide, it really stresses that you need to set realistic deadlines,
Right.
break down big projects into smaller tasks,
Okay.
and use tools to help you stay organized.
I can see how that would be tough
It is.
when you don't have a boss looking over your shoulder.
Right, exactly. It requires a lot of self-discipline.
Right.
But the cool thing is there are so many apps and programs out there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, designed specifically for freelancers
Wow.
to help with project management, time tracking, invoicing, all that good stuff.
So it's about finding the systems that work for you.
Exact.
Sticking to them.
Bring to them, yeah.
Okay, what about client communication?
Yeah.
Any advice for avoiding those awkward misunderstandings or conflicts that can sometimes happen?
Yeah, for sure. Communication is so important.
Yeah.
Clear and consistent communication.
Sure.
The guide recommends setting clear expectations up front,
Right.
having regular check-ins with your clients,
Okay.
and being responsive to their inquiries.
I bet that can be a lot to juggle,
It can be.
especially when you have, multiple clients and projects going on at the same time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But remember, communication's a two-way street.
Right.
Don't be afraid to ask questions, clarify things,
Yeah.
or even push back respectfully if you need to.
So it's about being assertive, but also professional.
Exactly.
Okay. I like it.
Finding that balance.
Yeah. And what about soft skills? We hear so much about those these days.
Yeah.
Are they actually important in the freelance world?
Oh, they're super important.
Okay.
In fact, I think they're even more important.
Oh, wow. Why is that?
Well, because in a freelance-driven economy,
Right.
those skills like communication, collaboration, problem solving, adaptability,
Right.
those are the things that build strong client relationships, help you navigate complex projects,
Right.
and stay ahead of the curve.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
And those are things robots can't do.
right. Exactly. And that actually leads us to a really interesting part of the guide,
Okay.
which is the impact of AI on the future of freelancing.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Is AI a threat to freelancers,
Hmm.
or is it creating new opportunities?
It's a bit of both, actually.
Okay.
The guide acknowledges that, yeah, AI is automating some tasks, which
Right.
could displace some freelancers.
Yeah.
But it also emphasizes that AI is creating new opportunities and specialization.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like what kind of AI stuff is hot right now?
So think about things like AI-powered content creation,
Okay.
data analysis, personalized marketing.
Gotcha.
These are areas where freelancers can really thrive.
Okay.
Like, for example, there's a growing need for freelancers who can write good prompts for these AI tools.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Or people who can curate and edit AI-generated content
Okay.
and analyze the data that the AI systems are producing.
So it's not about being replaced by AI.
Exactly.
It's about working with it,
Yeah,
figuring out how to use it to your advantage.
exactly. And this ties back to that idea of lifelong learning
Right.
and adaptability.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Constantly learning.
Yep.
Okay, so we've talked about the individual benefits and challenges of freelancing,
Mm-hmm.
but what about the bigger picture?
Yeah.
If we're heading towards a future where over half the workforce is freelancing,
Right.
how might that impact traditional companies?
That's a big question.
Yeah.
And the guide actually addresses that directly.
Okay.
It suggests that companies might become less reliant on full-time employees
Oh, interesting.
and more reliant on a flexible, on-demand workforce.
So instead of hiring someone for like a 40-hour-a-week job,
Right.
they might bring in a specialist
Exactly.
for a certain project
Yeah.
or a certain number of hours.
Right. And this is where that idea of fractional roles comes in.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Fractional roles.
Yeah.
What is that?
So it's
Would
basically,
a company really hire someone for like 10 hours a week?
yeah, absolutely.
Really?
It's becoming more and more common.
Wow.
Companies are realizing that they can get the expertise they need
Okay.
without the cost and commitment of a full-time employee.
That makes sense.
So, for example, instead of having a full-time marketing director,
Right.
a company might hire a freelance marketing strategist
Okay.
to come in for 10 hours a week
Gotcha.
to, like, develop their social media strategy or
Right.
manage their email campaigns.
So it's a win-win, right?
Exactly.
The company gets what they need.
Yeah.
And the freelancer gets to work on a variety of things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, cool.
And this shift could actually lead to more flexible and agile organizations
Interesting.
that can adapt to changes more easily.
Okay, so that's the company side of things.
Yeah.
But what about like the employee side?
Right.
What about things like benefits
Mm-hmm.
or job security,
Yeah.
which are, usually tied to full-time jobs?
Yeah, definitely.
How would those work in a more freelance-driven world?
That's a really good question. It's something that people are trying to figure out. Policymakers, industry leaders,
Right.
they're all grappling with this.
Yeah.
The guide mentions this idea of portable benefits.
Portable benefits. Okay,
Yeah.
what's that?
So it's basically where benefits,
Yeah.
like health insurance, retirement plans, even paid time off,
Okay.
they're attached to the
Well,
individual,
it's all interesting.
not to the employer.
So they follow the freelancer
Exactly.
from project to project.
Yeah, so it provides a safety net
That's cool.
for independent workers.
Yeah,
And it kind of levels the playing field a little bit.
I like that idea.
Yeah,
It'll be awesome.
it'll be a big change.
Yeah. It sounds like we're on the verge of like a major shift
Mm,
in how we think about work, careers,
hmm
companies.
Absolutely.
It's exciting, but it's also kind of scary.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it.
Right.
It's both exciting and daunting.
Yeah.
But the guide really emphasizes that this is happening,
Okay.
whether we like it or not.
So we might as well figure out how to make it work for us.
Exactly. And that starts with understanding the trends, preparing for the challenges,
Oh.
and seeing the opportunities.
I like it. But the guide also mentions that this shift towards a more freelance-driven economy could actually make some existing problems worse,
Yeah, that's true.
like things like income inequality,
Yeah.
worker exploitation.
For sure. So it's important to talk about these challenges.
Okay.
We need to make sure that as the world of work changes,
Right.
it changes in a way that's fair and equitable for everyone.
So it's not just about individual freelancers figuring things out on their own.
Right.
It's about creating a supportive ecosystem
Exactly.
and advocating for policies that protect workers.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here,
We have.
from the basics of freelancing to the potential impact on the future of work.
Yeah.
What's the one key takeaway you want our listener to walk away with?
I think the biggest takeaway is that the future of work is in our hands.
It's up to us.
Yeah.
Whether you're thinking about freelancing, hiring freelancers, or
Yeah.
just trying to make sense of all this change.
Right.
The key is to be proactive,
I agree. Don't wait for the future to happen to you.
right?
Embrace the change. Learn new skills.
Learn.
Exactly. Explore new possibilities. Be open to new ways of working.
It's like we're all becoming entrepreneurs in a way.
Yeah, I like that.
Right. Even if we don't think of ourselves that way,
Right.
we're taking ownership of our careers,
Yeah.
our futures.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
And this guide, this ultimate guide, it really gives you the knowledge and the mindset you need to navigate all this.
It does. It goes beyond just the practical how-to.
Right.
It encourages a whole new way of thinking about work and success.
It does.
It's about seeing change as an opportunity, not a threat,
I like that.
and recognizing that the skills that were valuable in the past
Yeah.
might not be the ones that guarantee success in the future.
So true.
Yeah,
So it's all about being a lifelong learner,
exactly.
constantly evolving,
Yep.
adapting to the market.
That's what makes this guide so valuable. It doesn't just tell you what to do.
Right.
It helps you develop the mindset and the skills to thrive.
In a world that's constantly changing.
Exactly.
Okay, before we wrap up,
Okay.
I want to leave our listeners with a thought-provoking question.
All right, I'm ready.
Based on everything we've talked about today,
Okay.
with freelancing becoming more and more common, how might traditional employment and company structures change in the coming years? What skills are going to be most valuable in a freelance-driven economy?
That is a great question.
It is, right.
It really makes you think about the future.
Yeah.
How things are going to be different.
And that's what the deep dive is all about.
It
Giving
does.
you the knowledge, the inspiration
Yeah.
to explore, to question,
To think differently.
to embrace the change.
Absolutely.
All right. That's it for this deep dive.
Thanks for listening.
Happy learning.
See you next time.
Bye.